guys. So my background is changing all the time. Sorry about that. I'm like moving shit around. So I'm going to talk to you about my doctor's appointment, which was yesterday on June 1st. So today is Thursday, June 2nd. And I have awesome news. It might not seem like super awesome to people who don't know what's going on and don't really know what to expect. But for me and Darren, it's extremely good news. So I went in, yesterday morning, I ran some errands and I went down to my old gynecologist's office to pick up my reports. I had blood work done the week before I got a positive pregnancy test, and I never talked to them about it. Don't know why, we just never went over it. So I went in there, and I'm sure they know that I'm not coming back because I've canceled my other ultrasound with them. I'm not getting any other procedures with them that they were suggesting. So I went in there, got my report, and everything looks good. I had my blood drawn for 5 different things. All my numbers are fine. They're all in the right little brackets. So great news. The only thing I'm still waiting on though is my progesterone from the lab, which is really starting to piss me off because it's been officially basically 2 weeks now. I had it drawn last Monday and it's now 2 Thursdays later, and it's just, there's no better way to say it. I'm pissed off. I want my progesterone because it literally is the missing puzzle piece to this whole equation. So just waiting on that. So tomorrow morning I'm going to go in and see my midwife, and if I don't have it by tomorrow, then I'm just going to have her pull my blood and do it again because I'm tired of waiting. It's not her fault. It's the lab's problem, but I'm getting pissed off at the lab. So, after I got my report and everything and I looked it over, I was really excited. I went in the afternoon to my new OBGYN's office, who is a gentleman. I guess statistically he's delivered over 10,800 babies. I'm really excited. He's really into the natural aspects of pregnancy and birth, based on one of my friends, what she has heard about him. She said she's met him too, and he's extremely professional, respectful, and she said he knows what he's talking about. Well, after my appointment, I agree. He knows exactly what he's talking about, from just a person-to-person conversation and then down to like a scientific explanation for things. He's just really respectful and cool, and I like him. He's very knowledgeable. So he, and if you're interested in his information, just message me and I'll let you know. I don't want to put doctors and facilities names out there just in case. Just in case I have a bad experience with them, or I just don't want to put someone on blast. So message me. I'll let you know who they are. I definitely recommend him so far. However, I've only had one appointment with him, so we'll see where it goes once I get pregnant and we start working with him. So we went in there, and I was fully expecting to get like a pap smear exam just to make sure. Last year when I had my miscarriage, I went to Genesis like 5 days later maybe for my follow-up appointment to make sure I passed everything and that I didn't have any tissue left behind. If you have anything left behind, it can cause an infection, which is really bad for you. So I went in, they did basically like a pap smear, and they found tissue. So they scraped it off and everything, and that's all I needed. That was it. I completed it naturally. So this time around, I'm just assuming I'm going to get that to make sure that anywhere in my vagina or around the cervix or anything, it's all taken care of. There's nothing, no remnants, nothing hanging around there. So, or if they didn't want to do that, I thought maybe they would do an a transvaginal ultrasound, just to make sure that everything got out of my uterus. But because I stopped bleeding Monday evening and I went in Wednesday, I completed the miscarriage. And when I told him that concern of mine as to why he wasn't going to examine me that day, he was just like, "You passed the sac at the ER." I said yes, and he's like, then you're fine. You completed it. He's like, anything else you see or anything else that you pass is going to be your uterine lining and your tissue and that. And he's like, it's nothing really to worry about. So when I went in there, he basically went over all of my labs, told me everything looks absolutely fine, and that there are 2 options as to what's going on with my body. A, it could be my luteal phase, and that my luteal phase is not long enough. What happens in the luteal phase is that's when your uterus is prepping for a baby. So because I'm on a 38 to 40 day cycle with my periods, my luteal phase may be shorter and it's not prepping enough by the time an egg comes down. Therefore, the egg is not burrowing into it. It's just not prepping my body for the pregnancy, which is why I just had a blighted ovum, aka an empty sac. If you weren't watching the miscarriage story, basically I had an empty sac at measuring 5 weeks, even though I was 7 weeks from my last month period. And I was supposed to come back in 2 weeks later to see if they had found a yolk sac or a fetal pole, but I ended up miscarrying a couple days later. So that's called a blighted ovum, when there is a fertilized egg in there, but it never attached to my uterus. Therefore, I just flush it out like a period. So that's what I had. And he's like, okay, so it could be your luteal phase, or it could be a hormone issue with your progesterone. And we are still waiting on that. So I'm not sure quite yet if that's going to be the problem. However, in my gut, I think that my problem is going to be as simple as progesterone. And the good thing about that is that you can get progesterone in pills, you can get progesterone with shots, and really you don't have to have any more of it after like 13, 14 weeks of your pregnancy, because then the baby is taking care of itself and the placenta is basically kicked into high gear and it's supporting the baby. Granted, if I had to have progesterone my whole pregnancy, I would do it. I would do anything it takes to be pregnant, and I will go to the end of the earth to make sure that I can have at least one full-term pregnancy. So that was really good news, though, is that there's nothing wrong with me other than something that really should be able to be fixed easily. So with the luteal phase, he told me if I'm not pregnant within the next 3 months, he's going to go ahead and get me on a medication that will help put me on like 28-day cycles, so that I'm going to ovulate on the 14th day, I'm going to have my period on the 28th day, and we'll be able to get my body to normalize itself. I realize I'm doing a lot of hand motions. So that's where we're at with that. But he didn't say stop trying, wait. He didn't tell me to wait for my first period. He didn't tell me to wait 3 months, 6 months. He didn't tell me to wait at all. So today, while I was at work, actually, I went back today. One of my coworkers was like, Kelly's gonna have fun. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was coming from the back of the bakery. So I'm like, oh God, is something like messy? Am I gonna have to clean something up because I was closing? And she's like, she's gonna have fun. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, trying to have another one. And I was like, okay, but if you think that I haven't already started, you're wrong. And she starts laughing, because yes, we've already started, because I have completed my miscarriage. So yay, I get to start trying now. Granted, when I found out I had the empty sac, I did, of course, like any other woman or couple would do, and I researched, and I saw a lot of forums and a lot of women who had the same things, and 2 weeks later they went back for an ultrasound and bam, there was a baby growing, and there was a heartbeat and everything. So that's what kept me hopeful after I had my ultrasound and there was nothing in there. Sadly, it didn't end happy for me, but of course, I went ahead and I did all my research too on when can you try again after having your miscarriage, or when can you just be intimate. Excuse me, why do I burp every time I film these videos? When can you have sex again after a miscarriage, and when can you start trying? Because I just wanted to know. And last year, the doctor at Genesis told me, just wait 1 month for your regular period to come. That way your uterus and your body has time to heal. You flush everything out, and then you start new. And it's also good to do because then you're able to map the proper time of conception and how far along you really are. So I did my research, and I can't even tell you how many things I read that they got pregnant within 2 weeks after their miscarriage. And half of them weren't even trying. They were just like, oh, I wanted that intimacy with my partner, and bam, we got pregnant. Half of them were just like, we're getting back in the saddle. We're doing this. So fingers crossed that is the outcome of what happens with us. If not, he really wasn't concerned with anything. He was like, if you're not pregnant in the next 3 months, we'll go ahead and look at what we can do to get you on a regular cycle, and then we'll start charting it so that we can get you pregnant. And I was like blown away happy because he fully supports this. He knows I'm trying to conceive. He's not stopping me from conceiving, and he's definitely concerned with my well-being, but he's like, do it. And, we'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. So, yay! That was really exciting news for me. And I'm just excited to try again. And I'm hoping it sticks this time. So, this past pregnancy, my second one now, when I found out at 3 weeks, it was like 3 weeks, 3 days, I felt like I didn't have any testing done on my progesterone or my hormones or anything, to know that I wasn't gonna carry that one, but I just kind of knew as a woman, like, hey, I found out really early this time. I found out 4 weeks earlier than last year. I feel like I should get blood work done, and it didn't get done. And I went in 4 weeks later for an ultrasound, and there was no baby in there. So I just wonder if I had the attention done when I found out I was pregnant at 3 weeks, I wonder if I would have kept it. I'm not sitting here regretting it or anything. It's life, and it happened the way it was supposed to happen. But I just wonder if I should have been paid more attention to. Another reason I'm not really a fan of that office that I used to go to. No. So that's the good news for now. Tomorrow I go in to see my midwife for some paperwork. I may or may not get my blood drawn. I really want to give these elbows a break. They're screaming at me right now between IVs and blood work and everything. But I might go get it done. I don't know. I'll let you know. And then after that, I've just got in 2 weeks, I go follow up with my OBGYN, and we have a regular exam, and hopefully by then I'm actually pregnant. So we'll see, but I want to thank you guys again for watching and following my story. I appreciate every share that you guys do. Sharing is a big thing for me. If you share my videos or my stories or my posts on Facebook or anything, I really, really pay attention to that, and I really appreciate that because I really want these vlogs to get out there, and I want people to see that, my story. Not just people I know, but just I want people who have had miscarriages and pregnancy loss, who hide it and people don't know about it. I want them to know what I've gone through. And you're welcome to message me privately about anything. Like, I've seen 2 people now talk about their stories on social media after I started this, and I was so elated because I'm like, yay, people are talking about it, and it's just part of the healing process. So thank you for the shares, thank you for the likes, thank you for the messages, thank you for the love, everything. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.